What is going on, guys? We are back with another rebuild on Madden 23, and today it is of the Detroit Lions, a team that is very alluring because of their effort, their grit, the coach, obviously, like, who doesn't love Dan Campbell, and of course, they were an interesting team last year because they really did play like they had nothing to lose. A team going for long fourth downs in the middle of the game in their own side of the 50. It's just kind of crazy to watch, and they were actually kind of fun to watch, even though they really weren't winning because of the roster talent. They were kind of coming close. They had a few injuries as well, specifically to the defensive backfield. They're also a team, especially after this last season, or last offseason anyways, that could be a bit of a sleeper. Of course, Jared Goff is Jared Goff. They need a quarterback. They need to draft in the top 5 this year. Probably top 1, top 2. Really get a quarterback. And honestly, with that, the Lions could be on the up and up. Of course, they have a pretty decent offensive line. Frank Ragnoff played well last year in the games he actually played, of course. Penei Sewell was solid. Decker and Jonah Jackson, they're good. They're good. That's all I can really say about them. Amon-Ra St. Brown was a super surprise steal for the Detroit Lions. Of course, they have Jameson Williams, which you can also kind of argue is a steal. I think this man is going to be killing the NFC North for years to come. They, of course, added DJ Chark, another guy that can definitely fly quite a bit. He's super fast. He's still young enough to develop, and honestly, this could be the receiving options for the entirety of this rebuild, with Hawkinson being a super high overall, Amon-Ra St. Brown being developable. Obviously, Jameson Williams is going to be the guy that we're going to be focusing on, and Chark still being usable. 78 overall, normal at 25 is not terrible. Those 4 might be, like I said, the cornerstone 4 here. Of course, quarterback, we're going to obviously look to replace Swift. The man is so inconsistent. I don't even know if we can see him play like full seasons. And in previous Maddens, for some reason, he just doesn't play well in Sim. So we may be looking for a new running back, but those are, that's not really the biggest focus. Defense definitely needs some work, of course. Some of the cornerbacks here are actually decent. Where the hell is Ifeatu Melifonwu? Is he like off the team? Did they get rid of him? Oh, did they move him to safety? He's a safety. Huh? When did that happen? Of course, like I said, some injuries to their defensive backfield group, as it seems like every year. There's potential there in real life. In game, though, what are some of they're pretty young, right? Aruarie is, he's 26. We're probably going to need some work there. Okuda, at this point, it almost seems like he's done. Like, it just seems like he's done, but he is still pretty young. He was showing promise. It's just, can he stay healthy? I'm probably looking to have him as our number 2 with Mike Hughes. I can't do that, though. Yeah, we'll play Mike Hughes in the slot, whatever. He's kind of smaller guy. Of course, we have Aiden Hutchinson, who's a big name. Surprisingly only star in the game, though. Charles Harris has been decent in Sim. Walker he's actually kind of on the older side now. Yeah, 27. I remember when he used to be star dev. Of course, the addition of Deshaun Elliott. There is a lot, and I mean a lot of work that needs to be done on this defense, specifically in the game. In real life, maybe they'll be okay if Aiden Hutchinson crushes it, but, you could argue that we need to get 2 new corners, a whole defensive line, an outside linebacker, 2 middle linebackers, and a safety. Like, there is a lot to get on the defensive side of the ball, and once again, we are obviously needing to use a very high pick on a quarterback. I don't want to spend money in free agency other than like kind of supporting players because we're going to have to pay more for those guys. And more importantly, the CPU kind of lets a lot of really good players go. And as much as Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert would be great to fill at quarterback, those are just not guys that are going to be available in real life. So let's try to keep it as realistic as possible. So Aiden Hutchinson has a camp breakout or standout, if you will, football IQ or sure tackling. I'm going to go tackling, I suppose, because I imagine that's going to raise his overall a little bit higher than play rec in game at least. What does that mean? His overall in real life? I don't know what that, oh my god, I forgot to cut players. Oh my lord, give me strength. And if not for the Lord giving me strength, maybe you can by leaving a like and subscribing. That's obviously how that works. We do a ton of franchise stuff, have been, and, I feel like you're going to enjoy the content around here. And, of course, if you're not new, really appreciate your continued support. I think we're just going to release a bunch of, you know, slower guys. It's usually how I do it. It's the least athletic guys, when they're all similar overalls, you're gone. I'm sorry. That's just how it goes. I just accidentally moved a freaking long snapper to... Oh, I did this too. I moved a long snapper to practice squad. I just imagine him being paid like nearly $1 million a year just to freaking long snap all year long. Keep practicing, we might need you. Hey, Onwuzurike with a dev up. I don't know if that's even how you say his name, I'm gonna be honest with you, but he's star dev, and that's all that really matters, baby. And of course, pronouncing his name correctly to not disrespect him would also be pretty important. I apologize. I upgraded his power move 3 times. He's 70 power move. Jesus, man. +6. Wait, is he a finesse guy? He was kind of a finesse guy, but at the same time, it really wasn't much different, right? Like, it was, what, 64 power versus, you know, 67 finesse. The power move also gives him a chance at block shading where finesse usually wouldn't, so I think it's still the right call to make him a power guy. Man, I don't understand what it is, but I've been getting speed upgrades for tight ends often. And it's weird because I heard that they actually made it less common, or at least the max dev up or upgrade you get for some of these kind of like throw power, speed, and all that's like 1 or 2. Yet I've been seeing a lot of them, so I don't know if they need to tune that or what's the story. Oh, I kind of just sold. I don't know if that's glitched or, in fairness, normal to star dev is actually easier to get because, well, it's normal to star dev. I'm going to have to pay attention to that because we just got a dev up for a QB breakout despite the fact that we lost. Now, I'm going to look at the numbers, and if Jared Goff was ass, I'm going to take it away because then I know it's like, okay, well, clearly, you know, we're actually doing all right, by the way, considering we're the Lions, but 300 yards with 2 touchdowns and a pick, I think that's not great. But I think from normal to star, even like superstar to X Factor, they allow you to have 1 pick, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm not 100% sure. I may be cheating here, but let me let you know a little secret of mine. I do not care about Jared Goff at this point. He just doesn't matter to me. So if we're cheating, it's for like a season, which we're going to win the Super Bowl in, yeah, boy. Oh, yeah, so we did not cheat because even star to superstar is 350 yards or 4 touchdowns, throwing 1 or less picks, and you don't even have to win. So obviously common sense would tell you that normal to star was 300 yards, 1 or fewer picks, maybe even 2 or fewer picks, or 4 touchdowns. So yeah, we didn't cheat. So of course we have re-signings, and what I thought was kind of weird in the offseason is that the Lions were actually able to get a bunch of decent names on 1-year deals. I know they were pretty decent money for some of these guys. Like Chark was decent money, Elliott really wasn't, but you know, these are all kind of like 1-year deals. So I think a guy like Elliott, I'd be really willing to bring back on even like a 5-year deal. A 5-year deal worth like 22, considering his real life contract. Actually, I don't know if he'll take this. Wait, does it go up because... Okay, that bar doesn't change. Because obviously he's not like Super Bowl, you know, he's not like super interested in how bad of a team we are, but thankfully accepted. Chark, I'd have to see how well he's playing. I don't know, because of course we're kind of using him as our number 3 here, which you compare it to his last 2 years in Jacksonville, halfway through the season. That's decent enough. If the ask is low enough, which a 3 or 20 I think is, we're going to give him the deal if he's interested. No, wait, what? Bruh, I'm just going to be honest with you. You're a punter. I don't know if you really get much of a say in the Super Bowl contender category. A 4-year 18, I think, is fair for a guy who is literally the only superstar punter in the game, I believe. No, 2. There's 2 superstar punters. We gave Mike Hughes a 4-year 22 mil. I tried to offer Arwari a 3-year 15, which is a little more than he's asking for. He's a little bit older. He's not the greatest to play cornerback, but I think we could make an argument to put him at free safety next year. The division's looking pretty rough, to be honest with you, and no rougher than us, who I think legitimately did have the worst record in the entire league. I will show you guys that I didn't force a bunch of losses, because I'll be honest with you, it definitely impacts this rebuild a ton to suck in year 1. You know, it really does help a ton for us to do that. Because obviously we need a quarterback. Jared Goff wasn't even that bad, to be honest, but he's just not the answer. Running back probably isn't the answer. Jameson was decent. Amon-Ra was decent. Chark was pretty decent, and then Hawkinson was really good for a tight end. O-line was awful. It was so bad. See how the rookie Aiden Hutchinson played? It seems like he didn't even play at all. Levi could go to superstar. You never know. Interior guy doing that well. Awarie, of course, Aru Warrior, should I say. He kind of is testing free agency. I couldn't do anything about it. I offered him a 3-year 22 when he was wanting, or a fair offer would have been a 3-year 15. We are just that bad. He's like, screw you. This is actually the result of our Jaguars rebuild, I believe, for the top 2 MVP for year 1, which is kind of interesting. Of course, let's take a look at any awards we won, which we did. Jameson Williams, number 1. Aiden Hutchinson, number 2, despite the fact that he really didn't seem like he played that well. Jared Goff at 8 for quarterback. So, once again, there is something there, but I just think it's too little too late. We can't work with him. We know what his ceiling is, and it's just not as good as one of the top-tier rookies in this class. Ooh, 100 gamer score achievement. Thank you, Jameson Williams. Winning Rookie of the Year with any player in a franchise. 100 gamer score. I love you, Jameson. Of course, the winner of the Super Bowl, the Chargers, a new team. Obviously, a team that's very good and has that potential. Please. Obviously, because of his award win, he does get a dev up, which is huge. Huge. Superstar development trait for Offensive Rookie of the Year with the 10K XP, 2 upgrade points for it as well, which is awesome. Any dev ups on defense? Of course, the guy testing free agency is going to have Superstar development trait now. Oh my god, do I really tag a kind of, I wouldn't say no-name corner, but, you know, a lower overall corner? We might. We might, dude. I will say for him, playing on the tag probably wouldn't be that bad, and I think it would be a realistic move for him. Well, it wouldn't be a realistic move for him because, honestly, like, I don't see this team wanting to tag him in real life, but definitely, if he were to get the tag, he should be willing, honestly. The tag is set. He's 17 mil. I love a superstar corner, but I gotta let him go, dude. I will try to sign him in free agency for like maybe 8 or 9 per, but I'm not paying 17 mil for a 1 year with this man. Especially since if we were going to try to re-sign him the next year, you know, his age would become a problem because he'd probably be wanting like a 4-year deal or something like that. So we'll try to get him back in free agency. If we can't get him, though, I mean, it's just an unfortunate situation for everyone. We can also get rid of some of these older guys that are expensive. Brockers is absolutely gone. We'll see about Aquara, but I think we're fine there too, so we could probably get rid of him as well. And then where the hell is Vaitai? We could get rid of him. We'll see. I at least want an option there. We could also maybe trade off Aquara for something. I thought there was another position I was trying to trade away. Jared Goff. You'd lose 10 mil, but you'd also save 10 mil. You lose 10 mil, saving 20, you know what I mean? Of course, it does seem like, well, this is year 1 free agency in fairness, but it does seem a little bit less juiced. Unfortunately, wait, what? Why would this not, I mean, it's not the perfect scheme fit, but it's not a bad scheme fit. Of course, Dawson Knox would like to join the team. Of course he would. So we did offer a couple of names, and we'll see if we land any of them. Usually the salary cap remaining kind of spoils that a little bit. I kind of wish they did have it the way they used to, and it appears we actually got everyone I was looking for, I would say, other than Jaron Reed, who is just kind of like a depth guy. I think, right? My signings. We got Tremaine Edmonds on a 5-year 65, and then Jamel Dean, what was his deal? A 4-year 57, which, honestly, both contracts are pretty good for their talent level. Tremaine Edmonds could be let go in the future, and Jamel Dean, I would almost suspect that it would happen. Well, I mean, he's a good player. It's just, you know, Tampa has a lot of players to pay, and there's a bunch of, you know, guys from that exact class that are all going to be needing contracts almost at the same time. So, well, I mean, they are, obviously, but I think those are possible guys. Those aren't guaranteed re-signs, so I'm okay with doing those moves. Now, would they want to join us? But it's money. Money's money. We do not have the number 1 overall pick. Of course, the Texans are a team that might not need QB. Will Anderson is definitely a guy I would say they need more than a QB with Davis Mills there. But the question is, what will they do? And the answer is take Will Anderson. Now we have a tough choice of Stroud versus, of course, Bryce Young. based on the ratings, it's going to be hard to go against Stroud. I'm going to be honest with you here. Everything's good to great. His skills, I'm actually going to take a screenshot of because I want to make sure. I'm thinking we're going Stroud, though. Of course, he is also a little bit bigger of a quarterback. This, of course, I don't know if I mentioned it, is Bengals draft class. He's doing it on Xbox this year, which is pretty cool. And obviously, a lot of this is going to be a work in progress, so we're not going to, like, you know, get crazy if some name, you know, you guys are known before me anyways. If some name that's there isn't going to be there in real life, or the players' ratings aren't super great because, you know, some of the stuff is rushed just to mainly get the names out there. So just, you know, throwing that info out. Stroud looks better in everything but throw on the run. I'm not really sure how much throw on the run matters. I think we have to take CJ Stroud. Of course, he's going to be hidden, and he is. 92 throw power. Hoping he's a superstar. Don't know if he'd be an X factor, but we'll obviously see how good of a decision that draft pick was for us when it's all said and done. I don't want to look at the devs because it kind of spoils the draft class for me, but, you know, just saying. Let's see what the Dolphins do. I'd say maybe the Panthers would go QB, and they do. Bryce Young. It really sucks because this team doesn't really need a nose tackle, but Siaki Ika definitely looks like a great player, but what can I do? We just simply don't need him. Although, even though he's a bad power, this is such a reach to move McNeil to like right guard. But at the same time, he also isn't the greatest player in the world, but he is pretty damn athletic for his size. Oh, man, it's such a reach to say, oh, I'll move him to the right end and have two nose tackles on the interior. Oh, man, we're not going to do it. Damn it. Now, if he's still here at 30 without a trade-up, I might have to. He is officially gone. Jeromepkr would probably be a guy that fits what we're looking for a little bit more. I also want Clark Phillips, I think, so we actually may be looking to trade down here. We're actually going to be trading down with the Eagles. We're going to take 40 this year from them and gain a third next year, which isn't like the greatest value, but we're not moving down crazy far, and we're still going to be able to land, you know, the players we want. And I think I'm going to probably go to around 10 here if I can as well. We're going to trade back with the Patriots, 45, and then gain a fourth this year. I was going to go with the Vikings, but theirs was a fourth next year, and I was like, meh. Of course, pick 8 in the second round. I think the biggest need is more defense, of course. Tank Bigsby, running back in general, is a big need for us because Swift just isn't the guy. But DT is the biggest need for sure. Jeromepkr, 20 years old as well, and going to be our new defensive end. Hidden development trait as well. Super athletic, strong. Looks like a good pick to me. Oh, we should have actually... Okay, thank God Clark Phillips is there. Looks really good potential-wise. And, of course, blazing fast. Maybe a little undersized to play, like, boundary. But it's a Madden rebuild. I'm gonna allow it, I guess. Clark Phillips, normal development trait, but 94 speed, 94 excel. A little bit of an L because of the dev, but still should be good based on the potentials. And, of course, that speed. I was going to trade up for a running back, but I just, like, Swift still has potential. Like, he still does, whether we want to admit it or not. And then now, John Michael Schmitz is still there, and so is Matthew Jones. Matthew Jones definitely does look like the safer bet, though, even though he's 23. Then again, if he's not hidden, that could be an L. Let's take a quick look at John Michael Schmitz. He's a little bit more athletic. How old was he? 22. That's not much younger. A pass block. The run block stuff is pretty bad, but the pass block stuff is really good. I'm going to risk it on him to play guard. And he's hidden. That is a win. I honestly feel like Michael Jones might have also been hidden, but I don't really care because we didn't take him. We gave the Steelers a fourth this year, a fourth next year, and a sixth round this year for 71, which we're going to be taking in a zone coverage linebacker. I will say, though, he did skip the combine, which worries me because he could just be an absolute trash can for speed. But we're going to take the chance because he just looks really good on those key ratings. And another hidden development trait player, and he is blazing fast. I was like thinking, hey, anything over an 80 and it's a win. He's well above an 80. For speed, at least. Feel like we really lost on this, but Julian Okwara, 4th round and a 5th round for 73 from the Jets, and Kenny Boa. I will say for my realistic rebuilds, it's not always super realistic for the amount of draft picks we have. in the sense of certain rounds. You know, a lot of times the 5th to 7th round I just don't care about because I know I can get better talent higher than that. So that's the one unrealistic thing that I will kind of allow just because it's more fun that way. And once again, I do use the argument of real life. If you knew for a 100% fact you were going to get 0 out of a player from the 5th to 7th round, they wouldn't draft him. But the reason why teams draft those guys is because there is potential. There are talented players there. But if there's no talented players there in the game, and I know for a fact that that's the case, and I'm never going to start them, never even going to use them, it's kind of unrealistic to take those players in those rounds. So that's just me, coping. Regardless, Ransom, normal development trait. I kind of remembered his name as being a guy that's usually pretty good. He could still be good, but he is normal, so it's a little bit of an L there. But going on to our final pick, which, honestly, I don't even know. I really wanted to end up with a running back, so we might just grab a running back just to have some depth. And here we go, Kendall Milton. That's going to be our guy. And he's hidden. All right. I mean, he had decent potentials, and more importantly, he was like a 4.4, 640. He had one of the other drills was like first. I mean, that's a dub. I don't think he'll start. Maybe? I don't know what overall he's going to be, but okay, that's kind of crazy. Let's take a quick look at the recap as we land ourselves some decent players. Wow. 76, 74, 74, 71, 74, 70, 67. He is a 67 overall, which is a little low, but he is built more as a primary running back than Swift. We might have to pay attention. Of course, Kendall Milton will be the clear-cut number 2 right now, but if Swift starts to suck early on again, we may call it there. But, of course, I kind of want to look at the dev of Stroud, but at the same time, I kind of want to just let it happen, so we might just let it happen. So we trade Jared Goff to kind of the only team that can afford him, the Eagles, for a 4th-round pick, and Jake Fromm. They really weren't doing super great with Jalen Hurts. I suppose you have a quarterback committee, if you will. I don't know if that's something people would do, but if they don't believe in him and they think that Jared Goff can maybe pull a Nick Foles, I don't know, maybe provide some, some value there. So the lineup changed a little bit, of course. A brand new quarterback in CJ Stroud, hoping he's at least a superstar, maybe an X factor, but hoping for superstar at least. Release Vaitai because he was expensive. Replace him with Schmitz, who is obviously higher potential. And, of course, all-star plus lineman. How old is Jonah Jackson? 26 is fine. I will say Taylor Decker might need to be on his way out based on expense and age. 29, maybe not, actually. Tight end's great. The receivers are great. Running back, we'll see. Milton is the new number 2, of course. And then defense, added some new names with Jamel Dean, the best cornerback here since Darius Slay by far. Phillips is going to be the number 2 because he has a lot of potential, even though he is normal dev. Okuda and Hughes are kind of like splitting the number 3 spot, but we're going to put Hughes there as the number 3 officially. Dexter's a new addition. Jacobs is a new addition. As far as, what we're going to be aiming for in the drafts or free agency is a new outside linebacker for pass rush, maybe a new free safety, potentially a new DT, and then possibly a new running back. We'll see, once again, how the season shakes out. We could get some breakouts. We could have some guys that aren't playing really super well or haven't played super well in year 1 at least for this rebuild do really well and, turn it around. Ooh, what dev up is this going to be? We got a QB breakout. Oh, he started at star. I mean, it's still a huge win because he's a superstar now, but interesting. We'll take it, though. So we have so many signings. TJ Hawkinson wants some money, and we have a lot of money to give. He's actually interested in staying on the team. A 4-year 60. I'm not really even 100% sure what the tight end market is like, but a 4-year 60 seems okay, I suppose. Matt Gay, the new kicker, I don't know how well he's playing, so we're going to have to take a look real quick before we decide to keep him long-term. And no. And the rest, maybe not all backups. Jonah Jackson's in here. We've got a couple of pass rushers as well. We thought it went by overall, but I guess not. 2-year 20 for Jonah Jackson. I'm kind of willing to keep him on long-term. A 4-year 45, 46. You happy? Fair enough. Welcome back to the team. Still have plenty of money to go. Romeo Okwara is better than Charles Harris. But Charles Harris has been the starter this whole time. If he's only asking for that much, I would keep him on even as, depth where we could draft a rookie to replace him right away. Oh, he has no interest in return, actually. So we had a little bit better of a season, but still a pretty bad one at 6-11. Obviously, you don't need to see the schedule, because if I was going to force wins, we would have kind of won. Of course, Stroud, 5,600 yards, 44 touchdowns, and 11 picks. Could go to X Factor, and if he gets an award, I think he will. DeAndre Swift, we gave him a 5-year, $35 million deal because he had 4.1 yards per carry at the time of contracts, and, I mean, he seemed to finish out pretty strong. Amon-Ra St. Brown, really good. Should be superstar. Jameson Williams, pretty decent. Hawkinson, pretty damn good. And Chark, solid yet again. O-line, played better than last year as well. We just still lost as a team. Sacks have been awful, though. And we're in a 3-4, so I don't know what to think about that. Take a quick look at the awards. As Stroud probably almost won MVP. Did Tom Brady's a giant. He's like, can't beat him, join him. Desmond Ridder, the MVP of the entire league. Stroud at number 4, like we said. Let's move on to other awards. Offensive Rookie of the Year. No Defensive Rookie of the Year, sadly. Quarterback was number 4. Running back, number 9. Wide receiver, number 4. O-line, number 4 and 5 and 8. It seems like it's not just overalls these days. It's actually about, how many sacks you allowed. I imagine DB, you got Mike Hughes at 8, and then kicking, obviously not on the list. And believe it or not, the Vikings are in a Super Bowl, but they lose a 5th one. Now looking at our dev-ups, like I said, should see some nice ones. No dev-up for Swift, didn't really expect it, but Milton was a superstar. Okay, that's pretty juiced. Kind of sucks as we ruined that one now for the future. But Stroud, of course, an X Factor, as he was the Rookie of the Year. And what else about Amon-Ra St. Brown? 85 overall superstar. This team's got an offense. It just doesn't have much of a pass rush, to be honest. Let's take a look at the defense, see if we had any dev-ups. And we did. I don't know if Jacobs was superstar or if Dexter was superstar. So, Justin Jake, what's his name? Justin Jacobs was not. He goes to superstar there. And then Dexter, I kind of feel like probably was a superstar. No, he was star and went up to superstar as well. I thought he had a pretty bad season, but I guess not. And then, of course, Edmonds, the guy we actually kind of neglected a little bit when we were talking about, who we gained in the offseason, also went to superstar. So, once again, we really need more from the pass rush, but this was a pretty good season. Of course, Phillips also kind of did nothing, like, at all, which is really bad, just like the number he has. And I hate that it brings me back to the main offensive screen every single time. Like, please, let me stay where I'm focusing on. But you know what? The Lions got a defense. Well, they got some linebackers, at least. I also haven't really looked at the abilities. The players with this ability are harder to knock out of the zone. Oh, my God. So this must be what they meant when they said that, like, literally every ability is, like, unlockable at any time. Well, not, in any slot, at least. So if you play your cards right in a league where you're not allowed to switch your abilities manually, if you wait for the dev up, you could get some juiced combinations. So we apparently have 88 mil. I do not know who we have to pay, but we do have that kind of luxury of having a quarterback on a rookie deal for another 3 to 4 seasons. So this is kind of our, like, window to shine, if you will. Who do we have to pay next year? So Taylor Decker, that could be a guy we replace. We'll see how much he costs. Tracy Walker's gone. He may even be gone right now, depending on what we're saving. He is. I mean, Ransom is just as good already when you consider the athleticism. Sewell's going to want at least 20 per, so that's a 13 mil increase. But overall, we can probably spend some money in free agency here. And if I have a choice, depending on who's there, I'm really wanting a DT. I'm really wanting one. Of course, we do need to pay... who the hell was that? Amon-Ra St. Brown, that's who. But other than that, I mean, we're kind of good. If we save even like 30 mil, we can spend some money here. Justin Jefferson just sadly isn't needed. Herbert, Rashawn Gary, of course. Seeing some dev downs, like we said, we don't want to see, but they are there. I'm really interested in Rashawn Gary, though, but seeing that he did dev down kind of makes me think maybe he isn't worth it. We have a decent draft pick, though, so I'd say it's probably smarter for us to just draft an edge rusher and not have to pay them top-tier dollar and just hope we land a good, young, high dev guy. All right, let's see what we got. We offered 4 pretty big names, actually, and I'm expecting to get a few of them, and you can see the money did drop quite a bit. I would assume we did not get one of them, though. And, oh, we got all of them. Did we? Okay, we had more cap than I thought then. We got Fuller on a 3-year 22. We got Hunter on a 2-year 40. We got Ed Oliver on a very expensive deal, in fairness, but a 3-year 50. There was a lot of people bidding on him. And then we got Daniel Carlson on a 3-year 15, which I think are not terrible contracts. I mean, Daniel Hunter, that's fair. His big issue is, of course, staying healthy, but also the fact that he is now star dev at 29. Ed Oliver is not the, he is actually pretty young, but he's not the greatest guy in the world, but 86 overall, it's fair enough. A 3-year 50 is a little high, but that's okay. And then Jordan Fuller is pretty decent. There was other safeties that were better, but no one wanted to come to us as much as he did, so it is what it is. Our overall's looking actually pretty decent, and after that free agency, our biggest needs are potentially a left end, maybe still draft a pass rusher if there's one that's really good still there, and perhaps a corner. We did keep Okuda on a 3-year 15. Phillips is built a little bit more of a slot guy. I don't know. It was just like a bad year for Phillips. I think Okuda is going to be the number 2, and then Phillips will be the number 3. I mean, Hughes was okay, but I don't know. We're trying to get some development in here, some youth, but it's a better-looking squad than it was before free agency hit, I'll tell you. So it was a 5th-year option, and I suppose for realism's sake, that is what we would do. So, of course, we do not need a pass rusher anymore. There are definitely some decent ones up here, but I think we're going to move down to like something around 20, so we can just grab a defensive tackle to play where the left guard currently is playing. And the Falcons, who have been pretty decent, are kind of giving me an offer I like. 21 looks good to me. 21, 27, and a 3rd. Of course, I don't think anything but that 21 is of this year, but that's okay, as they're going to get a tight end, which is quite interesting. So maybe not the same as, like, the Jaguars grabbing QB when they don't need one, but pretty damn close with them going tight end when they have Pitts, literally the best tight end in the entire game. One of my guys goes, but I do have 2. I have Hardwick and I have Samuels. I'd say that E.T. Samuels would go before Hardwick, and he does. I'm going to be honest with you, we may have sold here. I think the guy we're left with is the worst of the bunch, and yes, he is. He has Bs, which are still good, but he definitely was not as good as the other 2. Either way, we're going to take him. Jamal Hardwick. I hate myself. I hate myself, because I guarantee the other 2 are going to be good. I hate myself. And you know what? I'm not messing around. Even though we don't really need cornerback this moment, this guy looks really good, so I'm going to make a trade up for Aiken. I hate myself, dude. Like, it sucks, because I knew at 20 that's where I needed to go. And, I mean, let's be honest, I would have gotten lucky if that happened, but we didn't get it, and it really hurts. And they do not want to do it for a 3rd. We do have a bunch of picks, a ridiculous amount of picks. And that won't do. I'm going to do a 4th next year, I suppose. Jeez. I'm hoping Samuels was at least also normal. If that's the case, I can live with it. But here's the corner. Of course, zone coverage sucks, but an A to catching, B to man, B to press. Decently fast, but 6'3" is a tough pass, and we're going to grab him. Thank you for being hidden, because the DN we got definitely was not hidden. We're going to trade a 6th-round pick with 69 to move up 4 spots to 65. We're going to grab Hayden, as I think, honestly, both guys could be good, and honestly, both guys could be used by us, as Taylor Decker is not getting any younger, and we probably have to pay him, so he'll probably just be gone, and we'll move Hayden over there. He's a pretty big guy, and he's also a pretty hidden guy, which is a dub. Our next pick, I don't know if it's actually pick 19. I think it might legitimately be, and it is. I'm kind of thinking we maybe trade down, though. I like Burke, but I don't know when he's... Actually, to be fair, he's a day 3, so he could literally go anytime. The reason why I like him is because he's decently athletic, and he's got a B finesse. It's a little risky, but I'm going to grab him. Normal development trait, but 86 speed, 86 excel. We'll see what happens there, of course. That'd be kind of a future lineman, or a linebacker, future pass rusher later down the line. Hopefully Barton's still there. We've already kind of exhausted our trade-up options, to be honest, so I can't really do anything about it. Please be there, Barton. And he's not. I might grab this DT, though, because you're thinking C block shed, C power move. Okay, I guess the tackle's decent. 6'4", 347, he's pretty big. Look at the bench press. 46 reps. I'm going to take him. Screw it. Hidden 99 strength. Holy crap. Hidden and 99 strength. Ed Oliver's playing DN, boys. We've got ourselves a new nose tackle. Sorry, McNeil. It's just not working out for you. I suppose it automatically wasn't working out for him or Levi, our left end. I suppose we did lose a 4th next year, so we're going to gain that back here with this 5th round trade down. The Vikings just made it to the soup. Let's go with the Patriots, I guess. Luckily, we ended up getting Calhoun, that big monster hidden development trade DT. 73 overall. Hardwick was a 73 overall as well, but he was normal. He's not terrible, but I think we know who's better. Of course, the cornerback was hidden. And I think, unless I'm forgetting someone, I think he's going to be the day 1 number 2, which, I mean, those are a bunch of numbers altogether. Dev trait, star dev. Did we just get ourselves a slightly taller Okuda? Not that that's necessarily the worst thing in this case, because Okuda was maybe had potential, but obviously super injured. That corner probably really wasn't needed. What was the dev for Hayden, who's going to be our new left tackle in the future? Star dev. We missed out on Barton, but that's okay. Burke, let's take a look at... Oh, yeah, he was normal dev. What's his finesse? He's okay. He's a bit raw of a project, but that's why he's a backup for now. And then Calhoun, 70 power move, 67 block shed. What is that dev, though? 99 strength hidden. That is very intriguing. Give us something juicy. Star dev. I really thought for a second he was going to be an X Factor, and sadly he was not, but still, we'll take it. And then the 2 other DTs/DNs that we had, of course, Trevante Anthony was hidden development trait. Both the guys that went before us were absolutely higher on my list than Hardwick, but sometimes these things happen. As long as Samuels is normal. Yay, hidden dev. Oh, and he's a power move guy. Sweet, dude. I'm stoked. Hey, and he was superstar. Woo! 1 pick before a superstar dev versus our guy who's normal and is a complete bust that we're not going to use. Sweet. Oh, at least there's offers for Aleem McNeil already. And I will say, he is a younger, higher overall guy. How is Nick Cross a Buffalo Bill? Tevin Jenkins? I mean, they can have him for Nick Cross. That's a pretty fair trade. Both guys are 77 overall. We could use the safety depth a little bit more, obviously, than a defensive tackle that we have a billion of now. So we trade Onwuzurike to the Broncos for pick 91, which is a little bit of a loss on investment, but still a decent return for a guy we just don't have use for anymore. He's actually not bad. 26, 77 overall, star, and obviously they took him because they felt that value was fair. It's just, once again, we got younger, better options. All right, the year 3 roster, of course, an 85 overall quarterback now, an 86 running back, 89 wide receiver, 85 wide receiver, 82, okay, Charks, no, let's not talk about him. 93 tight end, though, with a 90 overall right tackle. A lot of the other linemen are looking pretty damn good. You know, you got a 91 overall center. Schmitz could be like an 83, 84 by the end of the year. Same with Jonah Jackson. I mean, he's already 83. Hayden could be like a 77, 78 tackle, ready to go next season for Taylor Decker. Defensively, new additions with Daniil Hunter, Calhoun, Ed Oliver, Aiken. Hopefully he goes up to speed quickly because Phillips was a mad L. He just didn't do anything. He was useless, even though he has potential. And that's pretty much going to be that. Let's go on to this season. All right, so we're midway through the season. We have a couple of re-signings. Nothing crazy, actually. Taylor Decker, we could afford, but we're not going to because we have Hayden waiting. Amon-Ra St. Brown has been very good for us. He would want something crazy. So, like a 5-year, I mean, even a 5-year 80 is probably low for the way he's played for us. But we're going to do a 5-year, $80 million deal. That's perfectly fair. I know Kirk, Christian Kirk, it was kind of like an overpayment, but with how well Amon-Ra St. Brown has played for us, 5-year 80 is easily fair. So I kept the same playbooks as last season, yet here we are playing way better than last season with a 12-5 record. The playbooks we're running for this one are the Buccaneers offense and the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. This is, I'm telling you right now, what I had last season, where we went 6-11. We, of course, did improve the team quite a bit, but I still didn't expect us to just win because, you know, we've improved the roster a little bit. So a little surprised by that. But then again, we may have had a team good enough already, and we just got unlucky. I think we did start last season with an 85 overall. This one, I think, was an 87, 88. But obviously, you could see CJ Stroud way up there for quarterback numbers again. Very similar numbers to last year because, of course, it was the same playbook. Like I said, same for DeAndre Swift. More touchdowns, but same yardage kind of situation. Jameson Williams was in the spot that Amon-Ra St. Brown was. So, of course, he's now an X factor, which is just, I mean, he's blazing in overall. That's insane. Of course, everyone else pretty damn good. 4 receivers with 1,000 yards pretty much every single season. Sewell and the lineman played pretty well. Hutchinson with a real teammate put up 11. He also had Oliver there as well, putting up 11. Danielle Hunter with 8. Could this actually be our year? Year 3 Super Bowl win with the Lions. Of course, we do have a kicker now that is also a bit better. Stroud at number 3, inching his way higher for a chance at MVP. No Offensive Player of the Year, no Defensive Player of the Year, no Rookie of the Year awards on either side of the ball. Stroud was number 1 quarterback. Swift was number 5 running back. Jameson Williams, the number 3 wide receiver. O-line, number 8 for Schmitz. D-line, number 8 for Ed Oliver. Linebackers at number 7 with Aiden Hutchinson. DB number 10 with Hughes. And then kicker all the way down to 10. I know it's 3 out of 15 is not like crazy great percentage, but that still seems a little odd. But here we are going against the Panthers with a very high overall. They're an 87. They're not too bad themselves, but they also do start out with a better young team out the gate. Going to the end of the game, starting out with a nice touchdown. They drive down, but we stop them. We get a field goal after that, though. They get a field goal. We get a touchdown. Halftime is going to be a nice 14-point lead, 17-10, 17 all with the Panthers coming back. We regain the lead with 7. We get a field goal, and we are going to hold on for a 10-point victory headed on to the divisional round. So not only do we get in the playoffs as the Lions, we also win a game, which is pretty awesome. Of course, going against Bryce Young, the guy we maybe should have taken, but obviously didn't, and it was the good call as Stroud is playing really well for us. Swift, 4.2 yards per carry. Christian McCaffrey limited to 2.2. That's actually kind of crazy. Receiving numbers were all right. Sack totals in our favor for sure. Pick totals, both speed guys actually coming away with interceptions. Here we are going to the divisional round, and it's the Saints. A little bit lower of an overall, but a team that has had some playoff experience, especially in winning. 5 overall boost on them, but still a tough challenge. Of course, we are a very, very young team, but another touchdown to start out a playoff game. 10-0 now. Still 10-0, 10-3, 17-3. They get a field goal before halftime, but very similar to last game, of course. 17-12. Nice touchdown, up by 12, stopping them, but then they come back with a touchdown. And with a little bit of time left, they have a sliver of a chance. But we get the first down of Hawkinson, and we're moving on to the championship round as the Detroit Lions. Not too bad at all. Let's take a look at the stats. Of course, Stroud, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Herbert is the Saints quarterback. Wow, we beat a Saints team with Justin Herbert, and they still seem to be pretty intact as far as receivers go and O-line goes. It's pretty impressive, actually. They're a decent team. Tyrann Mathieu still there. Their kicker missed. May have actually played a factor, but ultimately we don't care how it happens. We're just glad we won. Okay, so I've, of course, been kind of tinkering. Okay, see you later. I've been tinkering with the XP sliders a little bit. I know he started off as a superstar and he was super young, but tackle XP may be a little high. Everything else looks okay so far at around 142 to 145, but tackle XP may need to go down. We'll see. But championship round now. Who is this going to be against? It is the Cowboys. That's a tough team to beat. The highest overall of our 2 previous opponents, or 3 opponents total now. And we're in Dallas as well on top of it, but at least it's a dome. The winner of this game is going to be playing the Bengals in the Super Bowl. We do not get a touchdown at the gate, and they get a touchdown. It's now 14-10. We're kind of holding up with them, though, and they're a very good sim team. This is a super match of offenses. 31-21. 38-21. Looking good for a Super Bowl trip with the Lions. And holy crap, could the freaking Cowboys relax? They actually almost made the comeback, but they don't. A massive Goliath high-scoring battle, and we win the game. 2 touchdowns with an interception thrown. Dak Prescott 3 touchdowns with a pick. So Dak did play a little bit better. How do we win? Do we just... I mean, I guess we did just maybe score more? Did they turn the ball over more? Field goals? I don't know how we won, but we just outscored them, despite the fact that our numbers... Maybe there's some rushing touchdowns I didn't really see, but our numbers did seem a little on the lower side, if I'm going to be honest with you, but... A win is a win, as we always say. And here we are going up against the Bengals. What overall are they? An 87. We actually haven't went up at all. And I'll show you guys we didn't like force any wins or anything like that. Of course, the Buccaneers playbook has been known to be pretty decent over the last 2 Maddens now. But of course, it is a little different, I imagine, as Todd Bowles is technically the coach now. And yeah, I mean, we haven't changed anything there. The Steelers playbook is usually pretty decent for sack totals, but we don't get anything crazy like, 20s or 30s, so I feel like it's pretty fair. I mean, the Buccaneers may be a little bit too good, but it's fair. It's not the Chiefs. I don't even think we've seen the Buccaneers win a Super Bowl in this one yet, and they, of course, had a way better team out the gate. It's not... Oh, hey! Hold up! Bruh! Why? Why did he lose Dev? I literally have regression off, and he put up 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons. I hate that. That is a thing that needs to go away. Tremaine Edmonds went down in Dev. Of course, Elliott and Fuller both went up in Dev, but why is this why? Can't we just have nice things, EA? Please? Why is this a thing? If I don't want players to regress, do not make them regress. That is all I ask. Look, it's off. Look. What do you do? Well, regardless, let's go into the Super Bowl where we may be playing our last game of the rebuild. As once again, especially a team like the Lions, winning a Super Bowl is an insane goal to hit. All right, here it is. The Bengals back in the Super Bowl, trying to get that win. As we're looking pretty good to hold on. Oh, maybe not. I don't know why I'm saying hold on. It's very early. 24-21. And we're trying to keep that lead. We keep it by 9, keep it by 15. Are we going to have back-to-back rebuilds with a Super Bowl win? We are! The Detroit Lions are Super Bowl champions just like that. I mean, that's kind of crazy. I want to try back-to-back or even win 2 out of 3. But we're early in the Madden cycle, and man, I really just want to walk out with my Super Bowl win. The Detroit Lions winning a Super Bowl in general, how tough is that? Let alone trying to win 2 or 3. I will say in the future we probably will go for multiple. Maybe we even revisit this one in the future, but I'm honestly pretty happy with just calling it there and winning a damn ring. It's the Detroit Lions and we won a Super Bowl. What else could you really ask for? As CJ Stroud absolutely deserves it. He has come in here and made, I mean, as much as it hurts for people to probably say, made this franchise kind of forget about Matthew Stafford a bit. And I know they were, kind of living through Stafford a little bit when the Rams won the Super Bowl, but they've got their own trophy to worry about now and a franchise quarterback for the next 15-plus years to come. And, of course, they still have a lot left in the tank, especially with a rookie deal for that quarterback still in hand. And, yeah, we have successfully rebuilt the Detroit Lions in 3 seasons. Technically 2 if you want to consider year 1, we make some plays, but it's not really a season. You know what? I got Seahawks franchise rendering for another 25 minutes anyways. We're going to do another season, screw it. Whether we win the Super Bowl or we fail miserably, it will be the last season, though. And look at these names. Oh, my God. I just cut. I'm going to have to cut out a part of the video where I was looking at all the ratings and all that for the guys we had. And I was talking about how, we signed some pretty fair free agents, guys that probably could end up being in free agency in the future, but Then you go into free agency, and it's like, damn, he really didn't sign anyone crazy. You got Kyle Pitts here. Like, this should be like if this was a user franchise, I don't know what the max offer is, but this man's getting 40 mil per year. Like, I don't, like, it's just, he just simply is. He's getting 40 mil per year. It's without a question. Like I said, though, with those XP sliders, we may need to drop them to like 130 per and call it a day, maybe even less than that. But this is the last season, but I still want to, make this as realistic as possible. I don't think we need anyone, though, in free agency. I think we're good. Oh, I forgot we have that extra first-round draft pick. Who the hell do I want? We don't really need a safety right now, but we could in the future. I don't know, dude. Like, we don't have a position. I'm just going to take Tavares Black, whatever, dude. Of course, he's normal. We're going to trade down to 43 and see if there's any linemen there. Not that we really need one right now, but just, once again, we don't really have anything we absolutely need. We're just kind of drafting for the future. And a lot of our players are actually gone. We're going to take Leo Tanner. He looks pretty decent. He's also younger, and he's hidden dev. Do we take the center as well? Scurdy looks great. Hidden development trait. It's, if you don't know what to draft or you're bad at drafting, just take linemen, because that's what I do. And even though this guy looks like Buns, he was the only decent receiver with speed. But man, he really does look like Buns. F deep route, F release. Normal dev. He is decently fast, but he's probably an L. Honestly, I would have traded that pick down if we weren't kind of off the rails, because this is the last season no matter what. And honestly, even though we're getting a little unrealistic here, we're going to make some trade downs. Damn, the Bears went from no wide receivers to every damn wide receiver. I don't know who this guy is. I'm just going to make a trade for him. He's like their 50th wide receiver on their roster. I don't know how good he actually is, but he seems to be young, and 79 overall is all right. All right, draft recap. Only going to be quickly looking at the overalls. I don't really care too much about the devs of the linemen because we're just not going to see them develop. So for the final year, we really haven't changed much. Of course, Dontavion Wicks is the guy we traded for just out of the blue because we had a lot of decent draft picks, and he seems very good. Releases off the charts as well. And then defensively, we didn't add anyone either, if I'm not mistaken. But still a team that just won the Super Bowl. We didn't lose anyone other than Taylor Decker, so I couldn't see why we shouldn't at least dominate again. Resignings, we're of course treating this like a, like the series, or this rebuild isn't almost over. My man's here is going to be looking for something like 25 per, if we're going to be honest. A 5-year 125. I'm going to do a 6-year 150, which is absurd. I can find a better team in free agency that will match the... Like, is he done? Or, like, what was that? Please don't talk like that ever again. That scared me. Of course, this is going to be another expensive contract. I would say probably something like that per year. 6-year, whatever the hell that was, which was a lot. Aiden Hutchinson, he hasn't really played that well, yet he wants a 5-year 105. Any future, oh my god. I offered him a 6-year 160, and he said no. I'm done, dude. I offered him literally a deal that would pay him nearly 30 per, and he only put up a 1 season of 11 sacks. 1 season, unless he's killing it this year, which I will admit he kind of is, but it's near the end of the season anyway. It's like week 15. He's getting nearly 30 per. Jesus, these two. But I did decide to do a little something for this rebuild that was a little, well, maybe not this rebuild, but this season that was a little special. We got the bye week, and I switched us back to the Lions. Of course, we are in a vertical zone run still, and we still have the Pittsburgh defense, but I switched us to the Lions, baby, and we were able to go 13-4. So we really have built a solid team here, and it's not just the scheme carrying us, whether you want to believe it or not. We actually kind of, quote-unquote, did better with the Lions offense, considering we actually got the bye week this season. Of course, Stroud's numbers are a little bit down. Rushing numbers are actually a little bit up, which is surprising. Receivers are a little lower because the quarterback numbers are a little bit lower. Blocking was way better than normal, though, I will admit. Defense, the edge was great, and ironically enough, we're about to lose both of them. But let's go in and try to win a Super Bowl. Of course, we have already seen the process of winning, so I'm just going to sim for this season. and just see what happens. Even if we make the Super Bowl, I don't really care. I'll just sim it anyways, as we, of course, lose the first game, as you would expect. Nice. Yay. Sweet. Bye week, and we lose to the freaking 9-8 Falcons, who, of course, are in the Super Bowl against, I would assume, Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos, and they lose it to them. So they stole our playoff spot to go on further, to then ultimately lose the Super Bowl to the team that took our franchise once upon a time quarterback. Fun. Thank you. We appreciate you, Atlanta. We love you. Of course, the rebuild was still a success. We were able to get a bye week there. We got a Super Bowl win the season before. Stroud's a damn god. Once again, sliders may need, XP-wise, may need to go down a little bit for the next few rebuilds. Of course, Swift's decent. Let's take a look at Jameson Williams, who, of course, is a 99 overall X Factor. Release kind of sucks, but everything else is great. And spec also sucks, but he's not like some crazy jumping guy. I think his jumping was pretty low there. Amon-Ra St. Brown, very good at everything but release. Hawkinson, 96 overall, actually, excuse me. Really good catching, solid route running. Not even that slow either, 85 speed. Sewell, 99 overall, of course, a super agility style guy. Didn't really get his power up, but everything else is pretty much 99. Yeah, those sliders need to go down. Just a tad bit, of course. Looking at the defense now, Dexter, the 89 overall. Gervon Dexter, you know, had one decent season. Everything else was kind of bad, which, once again, kind of proves, like, with the dev regression off, they still have people regressing, yet it's not proper. Like what are you doing here? Elliott's an X Factor, apparently. Hutchinson finally went up to Superstar as we can't afford him, or we couldn't get him back, literally offering him nearly 30 per over, what was it, 5-6 years? And he said no. Love that. That was fun. And I think that's pretty much it for looking at the ratings of the guys that we had. I guess I'll look at Calhoun because he's kind of fun because he had 99 strength. Developing as a block shedder. He's kind of like a god. He's kind of cool. But that's pretty much going to be it for our rebuild of the Detroit Lions. I don't know if it's like a known issue with the regression turned off, players still regressing, or if that's the way they wanted it this year and they just want people to regress no matter what. It's a system that has never fully worked. So personally, I think they should always honor a user's decision to turn off regression, personally. But yeah, I don't know if that's what's going on with that. But if you guys enjoyed this one, maybe leave a like. Subscribe if you're new, as we do a ton of franchise stuff, doing a ton of rebuilds on a franchise in general. Experiments, you know, kind of what ifs, whatever it may be. Maybe you want to follow the Twitter, Jeromepkr. Second channel, PKR Plays, and then twitch.tv/JeromePkr for streams, if I'm going to stream in the future. I mean, realistically, if you're not doing Ultimate Team, it's kind of a hard game to stream for, because, like, do you really want to stream franchise? Rebuilds take so long, it would just kill me sitting in one spot the whole time doing a live rebuild. I don't know. But anyways, that's about it. I think this video will come up before Seahawks franchise, which will then, in theory, come out a little bit later today, maybe around 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, assuming this video comes out at 10, like I'm hoping. And that's about it. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys come back for the next video. Maybe suggest what you want to see next for a rebuild team. In general, what you want to see next. If there's like an experiment you want to see, like, does this matter? You know, like, does size matter? I usually do like the experiment where it's like, you know, somebody that's 6'5", 300 pounds at running back. Would he play better or worse than somebody that's got the same stats that would be like 6 foot tall, 200 pounds, you know, something like that. So let me know in the comment section below. And that's about it. Like I said, hopefully you guys come back for the next video. But until next video, see ya.